So guys, this is the architecture which I will be talking today. So I was just copying the image. So I will be starting from now. I have started the recording so that you can see my screen and you will get the recording videos. So this is the basic architecture. So by default, F5 has architecture operating system which is called TMOS. TMOS is traffic management operating system. Like we have Cisco IOS in F5, this is called traffic management operating system. So like in Cisco, we have iOS. In Juniper, we have Junos. So like in F5, we have TMOS, which is called traffic management operating system. So in this all, TMOS is basically your software foundation for all traffic management. So you can see that at the top, this is your traffic management operating system. Then after that, this is your part of your big IP. So LTM is our main concept, which is called local traffic manager. Then F5 has other modules like GTM, ASM, APM. So we will cover little stuff on that, but main topic we will cover LTM, which is called local traffic manager. And after that, we have iRules, which is also coming under this management system, which is called traffic management operating system. So this is the part which all will be covering under the TMOS architecture, whether it's a physical module or it's a virtual module, the same architecture will be followed, which is called TMOS. That is the base operating system. Then they have the hardware, which is SSL engine, which will have SSL processing traffic like HTTPS and everything. We also have compression engine, which will be used in compression profile if we are using any HTTP compression profile. So operating system, so traffic will come. So let's say we have a client. So traffic will hit on this operating system, which is running on TMOS. So TMOS, if I say TMOS, so TMOS is a dedicated operating system which have, let me just clear it so that I will show you like what does TMOS exactly contains. I will also talk about this basic big IP admin part, but let me discuss little detail more on TMOS part. So in TMOS, if TMOS generally have its dedicated CPU, its dedicated memory, and it has your hardware like system bus, motherboard, and everything. So this is required to run any operating system. So if we don't have CPU memory, so this will be required. You need to dedicate some CPU, memory, and system bus, which we have used in our VMware stuff also. So when we run our VMware operating system, we dedicated RAM, we dedicated CPU, and we dedicated processor. So this is important. You need to understand this architecture. It can be asked in your interview also, like what is the operating system running in big IP and how big IP receive traffic. So when TMOS receive the traffic, okay, so let's say that client traffic comes. So client will be here, okay. So client would be in, suppose internet. Let's say this is our internet. So try client traffic will hit to this TMOS. So TMOS will receive your packet. Okay, once TMOS receive the packet, it will be transferred to your hardware engine, your TMOS CPU memory dedicated. So this way it will be forward to your network data engine, networking. It will perform everything like networking part. It will be covering your memory management. So everything will be going under this TMOS tab only. And the operating system, TMOS has what is the kernel. So in this TMOS, we are using Linux kernel. So our big IP TMOS is running under your Linux. So Linux is your image. So Linux is the kernel which is supported in TMOS. So whatever command you are using, if someone has knowledge of Linux, it's easy to manage the CLI part of your big IP. So this is how your big IP system looks like. It has your hardware engine, which has SSL engine, compression engine. It has full proxy model, which we have already talked. It has iRules capability to modify behavior, which we will cover in detail. It has big IP modules. Like you have to purchase license for everyone. If you have to deploy LTM, you need to license LTM. If you need to deploy GTM, then hardware is same, but you need to purchase a license. You need to request your F5 that I need license for LTM plus GTM. I will cover in licensing, resource provisioning. So this is how it goes. Now let me talk more in detail like how big IP admin works. So this is our data plane. This engine is called your data plane. And this is your admin, which will manage your GUI, traffic management shell, and your CLI. So when you log in into F5, so F5 login can be done either through GUI, either through TMSH, or either through CLI. So TMS is your bash. So some commands we will cover later on detail, like what is the difference between CLI and what is the difference between TMSH. So TMSH is nothing but TMS is your traffic management shell. So let me log in into CLI and let me show you what I am talking about. So I'm just telling you little bit about CLI versus your TMSH. So when you log in, it will log in by default in TMSH. So let me show on my CLI. I will log in through PuTTY. I will enter this IP address. So I will log in by default. I'm just doing it. So by default, can you see this? This is called your TMSH shell. By default, you cannot see that it's a TMOS. So this is by default comes under your TMSH. This is your bash shell. But suppose now I need to log in into my TMOS operating system. I need to switch from my TMSH to TMOS. So how it looks like. So you just need to run this command. So I will delete this and you just go and run this TMS. So can you see this? When I just run my TMSH command, it comes under my TMOS architecture. So I will discuss this hierarchy part later on, but I wanted to show you like by default it comes under your bash shell. To convert into your TMOS operating system, you not need to run this command tmsh. So it will switch to your traffic management operating system. And this is your traffic management shell. I'm just repeating again. Some people will not able to run CLI commands. So in this training, I will focus more on both GUI plus CLI because whenever you run any TCP dump or SSL dump, you need to have good idea on your CLI. If you're good in CLI, you can crack any interview because whenever you have any interview or you are going for any troubleshooting, you should know this part. So let's come again to our architecture which we are discussing. So I will be talking about TMOS components. So we have TMOS components which I am discussing now. So in TMOS components, let's draw a diagram where I will be dividing into three parts. One is your TMM, one is your HMS host management subsystem, and then one is your AOM. So this is your TMOS traffic management architecture, which I will be going in little detail. So what does come under TMS, what does come under HMS, and what does come under AOM. So you need to know about this traffic management architecture. So in TMM architecture, first thing is your TMM comes in picture, then your I rules. I will be discussing this in detail right now. Then your hardware. In HMS, all things related to Linux, your GUI, your TMSH, all come under your host management subsystem. Then AOM, this is your host console. So in this, EUD comes under, suppose you have to perform any hardware test. So EUD stuffs, and you can also access your management through your AOM. I will talk about AOM later on. I will show that. So this is how your TMOS architecture looks like. So we have admin tab, we have TMSH, and we have traffic management microkernel. I will come now into this part. So by default, this TMOS architecture has been divided into three parts. One is TMM, which is HMS, and one is AOM. So now let's talk more detail on this part. So by default, I think everyone has come like TMOS is your operating system. Okay, this is your software operating system, and it has divided into your three parts. So let me talk more on TMM stuff. So what is TMM in your TMOS architecture? So TMOS component. So this is one of the most important component. So TMM is nothing but is your traffic management microkernel. What does it do? Let me discuss now. These small things you need to know because no one will tell you. So this is microkernel which will process your HTTP traffic, SSL traffic, or any layer 4 to layer 7 processing traffic. All traffic would be handled by your TMM, and this comes under your data plane. So all traffic, so TMM will have direct contact to your hardware. So all the layer 4 to layer 7 traffic or processing traffic, we can say that all processing of data is handled by TMM, data processing. By name, it is called your data plane. Okay, so what does it contains? So let's talk about traffic processing in TMM. Basically, we have separate hardware component. So let's talk about this. But by default, you can take snapshot of this. In this TMM architecture, which is your traffic management microkernel, they are software microkernel which will handle your data processing intelligently, like HTTP traffic, SSL traffic, or L2 to L7. Generally, L4 to L7 traffic is handled like TCP and HTTP, but all data plane traffic is handled by your traffic management microkernel. So you can think it like a speed processing hardware engine traffic kernel. So now let's talk about how does TMM handle the traffic. So TMM, traffic processing hardware, generally consists of many hardware. First, it has your L2 switch module. Then it has your packet velocity engine. So this PVA chip is basically used to speed your traffic. So when we will talk about different types of virtual server, this will come in picture, which is called packet velocity acceleration. Then it has your SSL hardware engine, which will handle your SSL traffic, encrypted traffic. Then fourth thing what it has is it has your CPUs, RAM, all comes under this TMM micro management microkernel. So this L2 switch module, your L3 switch, L3 networks, all come under this. And this packet velocity engine would come into picture, which is called your motherboard part, which will make your packets transfer fastly from your client to F5 and F5 to your server. This packet velocity comes under your layer 4 virtual server, which I will discuss later on. But by default, TMM is your traffic kernel, which has this below components, which will handle your data traffic that you need to know. So we will see that what is virtual server, what is how traffic flows, but this is the hardware which you need to know. This is very, very important. Every company will ask you like, what is TMM? You need to understand this is your traffic management microkernel, which is real-time microkernel, which handle your traffic intelligently. This is very important. Then another component which we were discussing was HMS, which is your Linux, which we are talking about, your TMSH, all come under this. So HMS, what is the full form of HMS is Host Management Subsystem. So whenever you do any F5 troubleshooting or anything, you need to log in through Linux CLI and you access your HMS. So that is called Host Management Micro System. That is the part of. So when you log in into Linux, so when I was logging into this, so this come under your HMS. So that's it. You just need to know this. This all come under your HMS. So this is what we are talking about. This all Linux kernel, these operating systems come under your HMSS, host management subsystem. So it will use different modules like we have Linux flavor. So in Linux flavor, all management like GUI management, your CLI management, your SNMP configuration, SMS or SNMP configuration, or your DNS configuration, all come under your host management subsystem. By name, by feature, you will understand this. Someone can ask like what comes under HMS, what is HMS? So you can say that it is a host management subsystem which will handle your management task and it will handle your admin task like admin, like login into management and everything. So this is all come under your HMS, host management subsystem. So we discussed like in host management subsystem, what is the purpose of this? It will be handling your system management and it will handle your admin functions like login through F5 and configuring anything. So when you log in to F5 and do any admin task or log in through CLI, all comes under your host management my subsystem. Whether you are logging through GUI or logging through CLI, this is all comes under your host management subsystem. So far we have discussed TMM and we have discussed about HMS. So if you have any doubts, you can just write down. I will answer after discussing more on this. Now, let me talk about AOM, which is the third component of your TMOS architecture. So far, we have discussed TMOS. TMOS has TMM, it has your HMS, and third feature which it has is your AOM. So AOM is nothing but it is called your always on management. So what task it does generally? So let's talk about this always and on management. So always on management would be like it will help you to enable big IP platform. Like suppose you can access your big IP through console, okay? Even if it will enable your big IP system accessible through SSH, even if your host subsystem is off. You cannot log in through CLI or GUI. So if you have AOM enabled, even if your host subsystem is down, HMS is down, this is down. So all this AOM feature will allow to log in most of the platform using SSH or serial console, even if your big IP host subsystem is down. So that's why F5 has divided your TMOS architecture into three components. Like Palo Alto also have data plane and control plane separate. Big IP also have separate data plane and control plane. So AOM is always turned on when power is applied to the platform. So it just need so AOM would just need power connected to F5. So if power has been there on F5, your AOM will be turned on. Even if your big IP host subsystem goes down, then also you can connect via SSH on AOM. So AOM depends on different hardware modules. It supports on all hardware modules. So you can turn on, you can turn off. So that is the feature which is there in AOM. So AM is a separate subsystem. It does not have any dependency on your HMS. So that is called always on management. So how do you check AOM is? I will cover it later on when we are talking about. So basically AOM is when you connect your serial console to the console port, AOM command would be running on that. So we will see later on that. So I hope now if someone asks you like what is the operating system which is supported on F5, you can say that TMOS. And what is the TMOS components which comes under TMOS is your TMM, your HMS, and third feature is called your AOM. So all comes under your TMM architecture. So this is how it manage it. So we have already talked about hardware ports, like we have around 9 ports we have discussed. So I will not show you this again, like management port, everything we have discussed on that day about hardware, like how F5 hardware looks like. So now let's come under licensing and resource provisioning part. Licensing and resource provisioning. So I will be doing quickly licensing because I think most of the people have already done licensing. So I'm just repeating again quickly on how to license the box and what is resource provisioning. Then we will cover further parts about VLANs and self IP. So let me go into my GUI and let me license the box. So I will be just log in on HTTPS, my IP address, admin. So I think everyone has done this. So I'm just doing the licensing part. So you go whenever you have big IP, okay? If you don't have license activated, your F5 features will not work. You cannot run your virtual server or anything. Like when you have F5 box, okay? But you do not have license, no feature will work. It's not like Checkpoint or Palo Alto that some features will work with without license, but in F5 no feature will be allowed without license. So that's why if you see on the screen whenever you turn on your F5, it's giving you no license exists for this device. So I need to first license the box. So for licensing the box, I will just click on the next and I will just click on activate. So here it's talking about your base registration key. So this is the key which you need to enter when you license it. So you need to go to f5.com and just see that 30 days licensing box. From here, you need to log in and you will get the licensing. You just need to go to this tab and get the free trial. Since I already all people have done, so I'm just showing you. So I have one license key, so I will show the key. So this is the key which I have got from F5. So I will get the email with the base registration key. So I will just enter it. So there are two modes. One is automatic and one is your manual mode. So automatic means it requires your F5 management to connect to your internet. Manual means your F5 GUI does not have internet. So in this case, you have to manually enter dossier and all things. So it does not have any internet. Due to security, many companies do not have management connectivity to the internet. So in this case, we do through manual purpose. So let me do through manual only because most of the organization do this manually. So I will just click on next. So this is the dossier file, which F5 will verify whether this is separate, unique for all boxes. So this F5 will verify whether it's already licensed box or it's a new setup. From this dossier file, it will verify. So I will go to click to here to access my licensing server, and I will just enter. I will just copy it. I will do Control A and I will do Control C and I will enter my dossier file. So it will validate whether it's your new box or it's. So see, I wanted to show you this one only. This is why I showed you the error. Like, what does dossier mean? So you need to understand. Everyone knows the license, okay, but they don't know what is dossier. Like how F5 verify it. Everyone remember that what is a thing and everything, but what is the dossier? So dossier I wanted to discuss. So dossier, when I talk about licensing, okay, in licensing part, you need to understand how F5 verify whether how F5 will verify whether it's existing license or it's a new license, whether it's active on another unit. So dossier is nothing but it's an encrypted list of key. So dossier is basically encrypted characters key. So it will have encrypted list of key that is called dossier, which is used to identify your platform. So it will identify your platform. That is called your dossier. So now let me copy my another license and let me show you. So this is the error which I am getting it. Unable to grant, this license has already been active on different unit. So what I will do, I will copy paste another license key. So let me use this. So I will go again, I will go back and I will enter new license key and I will follow the same process. Let's see that if it takes or not. If not, I need to request another key. So I will do Control A, Control C. Okay, see, can you see this? It has accepted. So it means I will get the license. So dossier has been verified by F5. It's not been used in another platform and I can request it. So I will do next and see. I have got the license. So either you can apply this download license or what I do is I will do Control A, Control C and I will enter here. So I have entered the license file which F5 verified through dossier and I have done next. So it will take 1 to 2 minutes to restart and do resource provisioning. So, so now just wait for 2 minutes until it ups. Then we will cover about resource provisioning part. If anyone has left with this part, they can activate it right now. So basically, evolution license are 30 days license. If you need to get another license, what is the good idea is like you will get 3 keys by default from F5. Okay. So once you get the 3 keys, whenever your license, suppose I have activated today, that is first Feb. Okay, I have activated my license on first Feb. So what is the advantage of third key? Suppose I have 3 keys. Okay, advantage is, let me tell you another purpose like why F5 gives you 3 keys. That is also important to understand. So when you go to the portal, you see that F5 gives you an option to select 1 key or 3 keys. So how to use 3 keys efficiently? Previously, F5 used to give you license for 90 days. Okay, but they have reduced it to 30 days. So in this case, today I have used 1 key on first Feb. So how to use second key? I want to use second key on the same box. So how to use it? So what you can do is on 26th Feb, before 30 days, you can reactivate license again. So it will again renew into 30 days, which means 30 days plus 26 days. So everyone thinks that F5 gives you 90 days license, but no. This is the trick which key you can use. It will extend to 56 days. Now, suppose I have activated now on 26th Feb. Okay, I have seen this personally. So let's say that I have used second key on 26th Feb. How to renew? So it will get expired on 26th March. So I have to remember that on 23rd before or 24th March, I need to reactivate using third key. So this is how you can use it for 25 days more. So total comes under your 80 days or 90 days. So this is how using one email ID you can license the box for 80 days. You just need to remember whenever you activate the first license and before 30 days, you need to reactivate using your third license key using one email ID. Hope it is clear to everyone. If not, we can discuss in Q&A part. So let's see our F5 box has come. So see, our box has been licensed. So can you see that? It will say that what is the license type. This is evolution license. Then you can see when is license date and when your expiry date is. So you need to reactivate on 1st March or 2nd March. I will reactivate. And what are the modules? So can you see that by default F5 give you APM module, DNS module, LTM module, and they also gives you other features like antivirus check, security check. So F5 can be used as LTM module, GTM module, which is your DNS. It can be used as your WAF module, which is your security module. and it can be also used as your APM module, which is for single sign-on application or multi-factor authentication MFA solution. I will show in resource provisioning. Since they are active module, but you need to license it. You have to have a license which will support all this module. Suppose if your company wants you to use as a load balancer, plus I also want to use as my DNS. I have a company X, let's say I have a company X who want to use F5 as LTM and DNS. So what I will go is I will call F5, I will call them and I will ask them like I need one license which should have both LTM and DNS. So this is important. Suppose now X company comes, they want me to support security module also. So I will ask them, I will go to F5 again and I will ask them, could you please provide me a new license with ASM module? So they will give you accordingly. So now when I go to the next will come under your resource provisioning. So let's discuss little bit about resource provisioning. So can you see this right now? LTM is dedicated as nominal. So there are three modes. So in LTM, can you see this? This is your nominal and this is licensed. But let's say that ASM, can you see this ASM? It is licensed, but it is not provisioned. So whenever you want to use any new feature, you need to do licensed and provisioning both. So until you provisioned any feature, it will not work. So ASM is showing you as licensed, but it is not provisioned. This is none. So this is also important. You need to understand this part. What is the difference between provisioning? What is the difference between provisioning part and what is the difference between Linus status, license status? So local traffic manager is nominal and it is licensed. If I want to use DNS, this is the module. So in this also you can see that this is not provisioned. So if you want to use GTM feature, you need to tick this. I will show you. Suppose I want to use both LTM and DNS. So I will use this. I will select this and I will select nominal and I will do next. So now let's talk about this. What is the difference between dedicated, nominal and minimum? Let's go to my screen, whiteboard, and I will show this. So resource provisioning. So right now in our class, we will be using only LTM module, but in company, you need to understand this whenever you, because by default, big IP has LTM, GTM, ASM, APM, and AFM. These are the 5 modules which are generally used in production environment. So now I want to talk more about like how to provision all this and what is the difference between dedicated, minimum and nominal. So in resource provisioning, we have 3 features. First one is dedicated, second one is nominal, and third one is minimum, which I have shown you in the screen. So what does dedicated mean? Let's delete this and let's talk about more on dedicated. So in resource provisioning, what does dedicated mean? I want to provision only LTM in my company, but in future, I want to use it as a security module or DNS solution. But suppose if you select LTM module as dedicated, I cannot use it as a, I cannot use it as DNS or ASM. I cannot use. So dedicated means only my box is allowed to use LTM. It will block its resources. So that's why it will get resource blocked only for this module, which is called LTM module. It will not allow ASM or DNS, even if LTM is not using its full resources. Suppose I'm not using it, okay, I have configured 4 virtual servers. My customer do not want more to be resource. Now my customer comes, hey, can you use it for security module? No, because I have all resources logged for my LTM. So big IP allocates in dedicated. What big IP allocates? Big IP allocate all their resources only for LTM. So in this case, big IP will allocate resources to LTM. Let me show you practically. So when I go, let's say that right now, can you see this? When I select nominal, it's giving me option to provision other options like GTM, AFM, and APM. But suppose I change it to dedicated. I will say this. Let me configure it as dedicated. Okay. Let's see that. I will show you. I'm using it as a dedicated. So I will show you that when it's dedicated, I want to provision GTM. So will it allow me or it will not allow me? So dedicated would be all the other things will be coming as disabled state. So until it takes time, let's talk about resource provisioning other part. In resource provisioning, we have another component which is called nominal. Until F5 comes, let me show you difference between nominal and minimum. So nominal, suppose if nominal is enabled, okay, my F5 LTM box, I have selected LTM as nominal. So what does it means? It will have least amount of resources. So it will allow other modules also to utilize the resources. So you can just give him CPU RAM according to the total capacity. So once I have provisioned this, I can provision other modules. So I can provision other GTM or ASM module. So this setting allocates your CPU, memory, and hard disk in a least amount so that I can use other modules, whether GTM or ASM. So I'm repeating again, dedicated did not allow us to provision any other modules. But nominal, what does nominal generally do? It will, suppose I've only provisioned LTM with nominal right now. I don't want to use ASM or GTM. So it will give them bare minimum resources. And you can increase resources whenever required. I can increase resources even for LTM also. Or I can provision GTM and ASM. So that is called your nominal. Third part is called minimum. So when you go to resource provisioning, first was dedicated, second was nominal. Now let's talk about minimum. What does minimum means? This is also important because it will it will help you in certification also 101 and 201. So you need to know this. Third one is your minimum. So suppose if I have a module LTM or GTM, I have selected it as a minimum. So in this case also it will also get the least amount of the resources. Okay, suppose you have allocated the resources for LTM. Okay, in this case also it will get the least amount of the resources, but no additional resources are ever allocated. It suppose I have given 4 GB RAM. Okay, I have given 4 GB RAM to my LTM box. So in this case, I want to increase my LTM module to 5 GB. So I will not be allowed. But I can provision GTM or ASM. That is the difference between your minimum versus nominal. In nominal, you can allocate other resources, like I can increase 4 GB RAM to 5 GB, and I can allocate other modules also. But in minimum, if you have allocated 4 GB RAM, they have to operate on the same RAM or hard disk. It will not allow to allocate more RAM, more CPU, or more hard disk. So minimum means that is the catch here. So it will no additional resources are allocated, are ever allocated. So this is very important. I have LTM module. I have 4 GB RAM. I have 32 GB hard disk. Suppose I have to deploy other applications. I need to increase my RAM to 5 GB. I cannot increase in minimum. This is not possible. So this is how resource provisioning works. So in resource provisioning, let me just categorize again. I hope everyone is cleared between this, but if someone has doubts, I will clear in Q&A. So in resource provisioning, I have dedicated, I have nominal, and I have minimum. In dedicated, we cannot allocate new modules not allowed. and nominal, you can allocate more resources and more modules. In minimum, you cannot allocate, I cannot allocate more resources to existing module, but I can allocate more modules. So that is what all I need to discuss. So this is which is the part of your resource provisioning. So let me come into the picture. Well, let me see that. So let's see that I will go again to my resource provisioning. So here it's called dedicated and it is licensed. So once I configure all the boxes, all other will go into disabled state. So in this case, you have dedicated and management as small. So management is will only occupied by default. So in this case, management can also be small, medium, large. So small means you can use for lab environment, testing environment. Medium means you can use for deployment up to 2000 objects. And large means if you want to. So I will talk about objects. This management task, this is also important. One is we discussed about dedicated, nominal and minimum. One another thing which I wanted to talk about was this management task. So in management task, we have small, medium and large. So this will only handle your management tasks like objects configuration, like you want to configure your virtual servers, your pool member, I rules. So all comes under your objects. So in small, it can be used for lab environment, but suppose I want to use it as medium and large. In medium, you can deploy 2000 objects, and in large, you can deploy more than 2000 objects. So this is how management module works. So I think we are already 10:10. So I will give next 20 minutes for question and answer. And if we get time, I will cover VLAN and self IP. I'm stopping recording for this and I will carry forward. Okay. So I'm just stopping the recording for this and I will start the Q&A.